Hello guys, Gijoe here and welcome back to the bunker in Atlanta. It's an exciting day. Before you see a project that has been in at least conceptual development for quite a while. In fact, ever since I finished my Midway table a couple years back, this was my next thought. I kind of just spent a little time thinking about it. Then it's kind of been in the back of my mind. Life happens, stuff happens, but I finally decided to put this vision into fruition and to bring it into reality. So let's take a look to see what this is. First of all, obviously it's a custom table. Now, I didn't want to do the same custom table as I did for Midway, as far as this is a double decker. This is the double decker folded out. So when I fold it this way, it's going to be twice that tall, obviously. So let's take a look, and pretty excited to show you guys. First of all, this is a beautiful olive drab color here. I don't know if the lighting is good or not, but the size of this is 24 inches this way and 36 inches this way. The total weight is about 15 pounds. So I've already moved this around. I've carried it to Sired's house to show him, and he approves, by the way. But so it's easily portable. So the whole concept of this was to be a portable table, portable custom game table, whether you can carry it to a friend's house to play or whether you can just pick it up and move it off to the side to not take up floor space. Tabletop custom game table. Enough of that. Let's get to the reveal. Latch. Okay, here we go. I don't know. Do I show you right off the bat? Here, let's do this. Ooh. Whoa, what is this? Hey, look, squirrel. What's this? And boom. You guessed it. A custom game table for the Axis&allies game Dday. Now let's take a look at what we have here. Of course, you see the out-of-box map for Axis&allies Dday, and you see that everything. The intent of this table is to have everything housed in-house. So these are the piece compartments. So like, you'd lift this up, and I haven't put the pieces in yet. All magnetized so that when I don't know if you can tell here, but these are 4-pound magnets. 4-pound magnets so that when you put the lid on there and you flip the lid, there's no way the pieces are going to fall out. Already been tested. See some beautiful black hinges. I have to finish out this little area. This is going to hold the card deck, the dice, a couple other things, but I'll need a lid for it as well, but I'll finish that out. But I just had to show you this. You see the round marker. There's 10 rounds in the game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You see the map. You see how the color flows with the map. And then, of course, here to the right, I have the battle board and some cup holders built into the box. And don't mind this stuff here. I had forgotten to putty the crease, some cracks here between the pieces of wood that I put in. So I puttied that. It's cured. It's white. I'll sand it off and paint it later, but I didn't want to cause that to delay me showing you guys this table. But you see the dice trays here. Dice trays, and I got, just thought I'd be kind of a little bit quirky here. I have a map of Omaha Beach. This is Omaha East and Omaha West. That's the dice tray. We'll take a look at that in a minute. But, all right, so let me talk more about this concept of this table. Again, this is the nice olive drab color. The concept was to be portable, all in-house pieces in here, although I haven't put the pieces in here yet. I put some in. I'm going to show you those in a minute, though. But you see the map here, of course. Now, this table is actually not 100% complete yet. Of course, once I get this sanded and painted, it'll be totally functional. But I actually have a phase 2 to this table that I'm working on. And the phase 2 is, if you know this map, I don't want the cards here. I don't want, these are the turns. Well, I've already got the turns built into here. So I don't want this. I don't want this. I don't want any of these graphics. I don't want any of this. In fact, I don't want these colors. And I don't even want it to be flat. What I want is for this to be a diorama. So I am working along with the gentleman from So High Design, Bill Whitaker, who did my custom boxes there. You've maybe seen some of my videos on that. But he is, we're talking about working out something to maybe get these pieces individually cut out of the map, like a puzzle, kind of like he did for me on these aircraft carrier decks, right, for my Midway game. And then I want to then have it elevated, if that makes sense. I want to have the game elevated about an inch off the table, inch to an inch and a half or so that I can then, along the edge, put in some railroad sand, gravel, rocks, maybe some foam, to where when we get around here, it looks like cliffs going down. And then I'm going to paint the water, you know, I'm going to paint the board here black, blue, emerald green, browns, mixture, etc., and then fill it with epoxy model railroading water so that it looks like an actual diorama. The intent was, and the vision was, on D-Day, the airborne troops studied sand tables, and the RAF took reconnaissance photos over the Normandy region, and artists, if you do some research, you'll see that artists would take those RAF reconnaissance photos, and they would make a diorama of the region or area that those paratroopers were supposed to land. So if they were going to land Causeway 2 behind Utah Beach, they would have a diorama of Sainte-Marie-du-Mont, Causeway 2, Causeway 1, those kinds of things, so that they could get acclimated with the territory, so that when they landed, etc., you get the idea. But the whole point is, I want this, when you open it up, to look like a D-Day diorama, like you're studying the terrain before you go into battle, and then you actually play the game on it. So that is my kind of phase 2 of this table, which might take some time to develop, but nonetheless, this is pretty much ready to play. So, but let's get to one other thing here on some pieces. So here are the German pieces. And you know, kind of going along with my Midway game, how I have all the pieces kind of painted to likeness. I have decided and started the painstaking process of custom painting the pieces. So the German units are painted in the actual color of the camouflage of the Normandy camouflage from 1944. So rather than these nasty, junky sculpts, black, they don't even look like, I guess that's a panther, which, you know, I guess it's kind of close to a panther. But anyways, instead, these beautiful sculpts from HBG, 3D printed, but I painted them using the camo pattern from 1944 in Normandy. So this is actual Dunkelgelb, dark yellow, as a base primer, and then of course the army green and the red brown, that, and I don't have them decaled yet, at least not that one. I think I have one decal. Let's take a look at that. Here we go. I've got decals on one, so sorry about that. Well, let's see here. Well, anyway, you get the idea. So anyway, let's get down here close. So the point is, well, let's do this. Maybe this will be better. So you can see the tiger, tiger 1. You can see the king tiger, tiger 2, another king tiger. What's that? I think that's a Jag Panzer. I don't have any Panthers. I need to order some Panthers. I'll probably do that but anyways, I took some time to paint them and put a little bit of weathering on them, just a little bit. So anyways, that's the concept. Oh, let's take a look at some of the United States ones. And then some other beautiful sculpts from HBG would be this. They're nice DD tanks. And I don't have them decaled yet. Look at that, they got a one with a skirt on it. These are all from Doug at HBG. Here you have the ones with the, you know, when they took the hedgehogs off the beach and made a device to help breach through the hedgerows of Normandy. So you get the idea of the concept at least. So anyways, I just wanted to show you this table. And this is my D-Day table. So pretty excited about this. And anyway, so that's the first thing. The second thing regarding the table is, oh, wait, one other thing. Oh, I gotta show you this. Where do those go? Oh yeah. Of course, the planes, as you see, the planes from that are gonna have like invasion stripes, right? You gotta have invasion stripes, right? I had this painted, but no invasion stripes yet. So, nonetheless, you get the idea of what this game, you know, at least the vision for this game. All right, so that's that. Now, let's talk about potential opportunity for anyone interested. So, again, this is the table. Thanks for your attentiveness and watching. But I have come to the decision, I've been talking with Sired, and I've come to the decision of offering the possibility to anyone who might be interested in purchasing a custom table. So what does that mean? Well, if you remember, hold on one second. If you've seen any of Sired's videos, you know, if you've seen any of Sired's videos, you know that he built these beautiful battle boxes right here. You know, if you haven't seen these, you've got to check these out. They're not for sale anymore, but he went through, I think, 2 or 3 runs of these, and he sold these back in the day. I can't remember the word, maybe 2018, and he did another one in 20 or 22, something like that. So anyways, he offered these, and I have an idea of, one second, I would like to offer the opportunity, if anyone's interested in pre-ordering some custom tables. So, what does that mean? Well, this would be the template. Now, you may say, well, you know, Joe, G.I. Joe, I really don't play D-Day a lot. That's not my favorite game. I prefer X amount of games. But the size of the table would be this size, 24 by 36. And by the way, fully opened up, it is that about 73 inches, just shy of 73 inches, okay? Because there's a little bit of gap here with the hinges. So, but here's what's cool about this. Are you ready? Battle of the Bulge. Are you ready? Are you sitting down? Pacific, 1999. I guess it's 99, right? Axis&allies Pacific. This is before they came out with Global. Axis&allies Europe, 99. Revised. And none other than the classic. The classic game fits in there as well. So, the reason I'm showing you all this is for the following. And I might have to do a different video on this, and maybe I should have. Now, I'm not going to sell this one, because this is my table. But The reason I'm saying that is if you're a D-Day guy like I am, you might want a D-Day table colored in the D-Day scheme with the green and etc. Just like this, okay? If you're a Battle of Bulge person, if you want to have a customized table for your Battle of Bulge map, what we can do is this, only the paint scheme would be in the German gray. Does that make sense? Or let's say, for instance, you're like, no, man, my favorite game, gotta have it. My favorite game is Pacific. I love the Pacific game. Well, if you want, you can have it painted in the Japanese color, okay? Now, with that, in other words, you have options. It's not that you have to get the table in this color scheme. You might want the table in this color scheme. So what color schemes will we offer? Well, we would offer, of course, the green, the olive drab green. And by the way, I'm thinking about putting like invasion stripes right here, or a star or something along that lines. But if you chose to, let's say you wanted it in German gray, we'd do gray, and I'd put a cross somewhere, whether it be on the back side or somewhere on here, or maybe put it there or something like that. If you want to do the Europe game, Europe 99, and you prefer to have the Russia, we could do it in the Russia green, okay? And I could get a Russian star on there. All right? And then, of course, well, I think that'd probably be about it. The only thing is that I had a Hambone sent me the measurements for the new North Africa game from Renegade Axis and Allies, and the map is too big for this table. So, unfortunately, although I was doing it like in a desert yellow, that would be totally sweet, right? Desert yellow with the German cross on it, that would be so awesome. But the map is like this far, and again, the purpose was to have this portable. But anyways, all that to say, I am going to offer these tables. I haven't built them yet, but I will do, if you're interested, the price would be this. The price would be, I would ask $375. I know that's a lot of money, but I've done the calculator on how much it costs for all the paint, all the hardware, all the wood, not to mention the time and the labor, the cup holders, the like I said, the hardware, this stuff. Got to buy a can of dip, I would line these out with leather, or like a faux leather kind of thing. You don't have to have this. I'd put like a black faux leather in here. And if you chose to have it built to go with a certain game, like let's say you wanted it to go with Revised. Now Revised is going to have an income tracker, so I'll build an income tracker into here, and I'll like along the railings here would cover things like victory points, income tracker, kind of reminiscent of what we have on the typical BBR table, but all would be housed in here. And of course, this would be the storage area for all the pieces with the magnets, so everything is stored in-house. So anyways, all that to say, the $375 would cover the cost of the table. That's all supplies, all paint, all labor. And then the question would then be, what about delivery? Now, $375 would not include delivery. So delivery would have a couple options. If you live, I've been thinking about this. I live in the Atlanta area. But if you live close enough to Atlanta, and when I say close enough, if you're able to, say, get to Birmingham, Chattanooga, Tennessee, Kentucky. My parents live in St. Louis, so I go to St. Louis several times a year. So if you're within a couple hours driving distance of St. Louis, in other words, I'm willing to basically drive your table, even though I live in Atlanta, if it's something that you could not, you don't want to pay shipping, but you're going to be, let's say you're going to be at the Atlanta BBR. I could have your table waiting for you when you get here. Let's say you're going to be at the St. Louis BBR. if there's going to be another one, I could have your table there. I could deliver it to Father, and he can make sure to get it to you. The chaplain, we call him the Father, chaplain. If you don't want to wait that long, my parents live in St. Louis. So if you're a couple hours out of St. Louis and you can get to St. Louis, I could bring it up on one of my trips to see my parents, and you could pick it up there. I'm willing to drive to Birmingham. It's about 2 hours for me. So if you're, within a short distance of Birmingham, Alabama, and you want to get to there. In other words, I'm willing in some of my circles where I normally travel anyway, St. Louis, Kentucky, Chattanooga, Tennessee, Florida, if you're in the Orlando, Florida area, or if you're close to Florida, or if you're anywhere on a highway between Atlanta and Orlando or Naples, Florida, I go there at least once or twice a year. I'm able to meet you somewhere along that line. So what I'm saying is, if you don't want to pay shipping, if you're interested in this and don't want to pay shipping, because it might not be cheap to ship, might be in the $50 to $100 range. I don't know, but I'm willing to do that. Either you can pick up locally in Atlanta or in St. Louis at that BBR, or as I said, I'm willing to meet you along my path in Kentucky, St. Louis, and Missouri. I'm in Tennessee, Chattanooga area, Nashville area. I go through there a couple times a year. Birmingham, Florida, from Atlanta down to Florida. So anyways, I'm willing to do that. All that to say, if you're interested, I need you to email me at gijoe6644@gmail.com. gijoe6644@gmail.com. Okay? That's my Gmail address, and the 6644, of course, is June 644, D-Day. So you can do that. You can email me. Like I said, $375 doesn't include shipping, but I won't. If I deliver it to you because we're going to meet along my path somewhere, I'm not going to charge you for that because I'm going that direction anyway. So anyways, if you're interested, I will take pre-orders, but communicate with me first. And if that's something you're interested in, I will let you know how to pay. It'll be through PayPal. But I'll give you those instructions if you reach out to me. If for some reason you try to email me, it doesn't work, you can put a comment in the description below or in the comments below, and I'll try to respond to that if you're having any problems getting a hold of me, and we'll go from there. So again, hope you like the table. This is my custom table for D-Day, but as I said before, I'm going to offer this up to other folks. If you are interested in purchasing it, $375. And thanks for watching, guys. And we'll see you soon.